If you guys are waking up every single morning, staring at the charts and having no freaking clue what to do or where price is going to go, then this video is for you guys. In this video, I'm going to be doing a full in-depth breakdown of how I find my daily bias every single day. Again, a lot of people have different ways about doing this, or you guys will hear a whole bunch of traders say like, oh yeah, my daily bias is bullish for the day, or my daily bias is bearish, but you guys just have no clue of how we came to that conclusion. So I'm going to share with you guys how I've been finding my daily bias recently that's been helping me a whole lot in understanding where price wants to go, because more often than not on the chart, we will have a draw on liquidity or an area that we can totally see price going to, but then price ends up going in the other direction. Or there's two different draws on liquidity and you're like, man, I wish I knew where price was going to go for the day. And in this video, I'm going to cover how I find my daily bias and how you guys are able to get out of these situations and how you guys are able to actually capitalize on these situations. So with that being said, let's jump into the charts. This isn't going to be any bullshit, any freaking indicator, whatever. Or actually, no, I am going to be using one indicator, but it's just to mark out session highs and lows. But with that being said, let's pull up the charts right now. So this is actually, market just opened 10 minutes ago. I'm not going to be trading today because we had war news that came out during Asian session, unfortunately. So this is actually live trading conditions. So we're going to be going over how I find my daily bias, and I'm going to be doing it with the current market right now, but I'll also go back through this entire week and go over it. But what I first want to do is kind of map out of how I go about finding daily bias in the first place. So the first thing that I want to know and understand is, what did London session do? And this is going to be applicable for any session. So I'm always looking at what the previous session did. Okay, so I trade the indexes, I trade the S&P 500 and NASDAQ. Some of you guys may trade Euro USD. You guys may trade gold. You might trade GBP USD. Okay, and on those pairs, you guys might be trading during London session. You guys might be trading during Asian session. The same thing applies. We're just looking at the past session that had just passed. And if you guys know about how I trade, I'm always looking to trade right at market opens. So regardless of if I'm trading an index, or if I'm trading Forex, or if I'm trading a commodity such as gold, I'm going to want to be trading at a market open, because I know that that's when there's going to be volume and volatility coming into the market. There's going to be new money flooding into the market to be able to give us a move for us to trade on, okay? And that's typically when we get the most volume and the most volatility, and that's typically when these moves are made. So we are going to be looking at the last session's move, and you're probably saying, well, like, okay, how do we even understand this? So there's literally only three ways that the past session can move, and a lot of people call these daily profiles or whatever. I don't really, that's just too fucking fancy. It's just like, what did the last fucking session do? Okay, let's just keep it at that. What did the last session do? So for me, when I'm trading New York session, what session comes before New York? London session. So I'm looking at London session. What are the three ways that London session could move prior to New York session? So we're looking at last session's move, and we'll go ahead and just highlight the three different daily profiles that there are. The first one is previous session consolidation into new session. So for me, that would be New York session, manipulation, reversal. Okay. So this is the first way that price could move. Okay. So we have, let's say London session starts right here. This is when New York session starts. London session opens and it's just consolidating, and then boom, New York session opens. We see a manipulation, then a reversal during New York session. Okay. So that's the first way. Second way is previous session manipulation into new session reversal. And again, notice that every single one of these is going to have a form of manipulation, because if you guys know the way that I trade, I am only trying to trade off of manipulation. Okay, manipulation is what causes the market to move. We need manipulation in order to fill orders, in order for price to move in the direction that we want it to go. So with this one, previous session manipulation, so let's say this is London session, and let's say we have a draw on liquidity right here. So during London session, we're coming down, and then boom, we come down and we are manipulating during the previous session, but we don't get the reversal during London session. So what are we expecting New York to do? Give us that reversal and push price higher, okay? And then the third way that price can move is previous session manipulation plus reversal into new session continuation. So what does that look like? We actually just had an example of this yesterday. I was able to make a lot of money off of it. So what does this look like? London session. Oh shit, you guys weren't even able to see that low. Oopsies. Let's go over this one more time because I'm pretty sure my head was in the way. Previous session manipulation, new session reversal. Okay, so let's say there's a high time frame low right here. Boom, we come down, we come down, we come down, and then we finally get underneath this low, and then the new session, we're expecting it to reverse off of that. Now, previous session manipulation, reversal, new session continuation is when we come down, manipulate, reverse, and then we expect the new session to continue it higher. Now, it's the same thing in the opposite direction. Okay, so boom, boom. Okay, so for previous session consolidation, new session manipulation and reversal, let's say we're just consolidating and then boom, new session starts. We manipulate, reverse, awesome. Next one, previous session manipulation, new session reversal, boom, we're going up. We take out those highs into the new session. We're expecting it to reverse. And then previous session manipulation, reversal, new session continuation. We see boom, the manipulation, the reversal. We're expecting it to continue down. So those are the three ways that market can move. And I know you're probably saying, well, it can't be that simple. It really is. And that's the first thing that we're looking at. We're looking at what did the previous session do? Did the previous session consolidate? And by consolidation, it doesn't mean it just has to go sideways. It just means there's no form of manipulation, okay? Because the other two profiles have a form of manipulation, whether it's manipulation without the reversal. We're expecting the new session to give us the reversal. Whether it's the manipulation with the reversal, we're expecting the new session to continue, okay? To continue that trend higher. Versus consolidation, there's just no manipulation of high time frame draws on liquidity. So what else do we have to be good at? We have to be good at identifying draws on liquidity. So on top of us identifying the previous session's daily profiles, we have to identify draws on liquidity. On the high time frame, we need to identify high time frame draws on liquidity. What is that in? That's in 1 hour highs and lows, 4 hour highs and lows, and session highs and lows. And if you guys don't know about these terms like draws on liquidity, high time frame liquidity, 1 hour, 4 hour session highs and lows, I'll leave a link in the description to a 5.5 hour free course of me literally explaining every single confluence that I use within my day trading strategy. So you guys can understand these confluences. You guys can go and watch that video, and then you guys can come right back to this so that you guys can fully understand this a little bit better. So we want to be able to identify our high time frame draws on liquidity. How are we going to do that? We're going to mark out the highs and lows on the 1 hour, on the 4 hour, and the session highs and lows. So for me, since I'm trading New York session, I'm marking out London session highs and lows. I'm marking out Asian session highs and lows. And then we can also mark out previous day highs and lows as well. Those are good draws on liquidity. So once we've identified those draws on liquidity, we are going to look for the daily profile that is happening out of those draws, okay? So we know what our daily profiles are. We know that it's either going to consolidate and then the new session is going to manipulate the draw on liquidity and then reverse. We know that it's either going to be manipulating one of these high time frame draws on liquidity already and then the new session is going to start and then it's going to reverse, or it's going to manipulate the high time frame draw on liquidity, reverse, and then the new session is going to continue that trend. And that is literally how I find daily bias. I know you guys are probably like, it's got to be more than that. It's not. It's identifying draws on liquidity, and then it's just identifying whether those draws on liquidity have been swept yet, and if they have been swept, where is price going to go from there? Or if it hasn't been swept, how can we take a trade off of it once it does get swept and price is going to move higher? So this is literally all I use to find my daily bias. I look at the daily profile, I look at the previous session, I identify my high time frame draws on liquidity, and then from there, I'm looking at what daily profile happens out of these draws on liquidity. And then from there, all I do is target the draws on liquidity in the other direction. So I guess the last thing that we can say in terms of daily bias would be target the draws in the other direction. Because obviously, If we're getting manipulation of lows and a reversal, we're going to want to target what? Highs. Why? Because we were able to fill orders down here. Where will we be able to offload those orders? Above highs. Or where will we be able to exit those trades? Above highs. Cool. So now that we've done this, take a screenshot of it, take it home, give it to your grandma, okay? And then we'll go ahead and apply this on the chart. And you guys will see how this happens literally every single day. One of these three. And the reason why it happens every single day is because there's literally no other way that price could move. Like this covers every single direction of price movement. It's like price either moves sideways, goes up, or goes down. I know you're probably saying, well, TJR, like, obviously these are the only 3 daily profiles because that's the only way that price can move. Yeah, exactly. So it's just identifying when we write it out and we actually can identify like, hey, this is what's happening. And then when we can understand what's happening following that, that's when we're actually able to start cooking. All right. So now that we've done that, let's get into it. Oh, dude. And look, we're literally having one right now. I didn't think that we were going to get good price action today, but look, this is actually pretty good. Okay. I mean, fuck it. I'll show what I would be looking at today. So right now I have my little session high and low indicator on here. I'll leave a link in the description if you guys want these. I just use it. It just makes my life way easier. The red lines are Asian session highs and lows. The blue lines are London session highs and lows. So let's just practice with today's price action, even though we had war news. So price is going to be a little bit messed up. This is London session and this is Asian session. We can show this on both sessions of what's happening. So let's say we wanted to trade London session. Let's look at what Asian session did. Asian session came down, and what did it do? We came down and we swept out what? High time frame liquidity. So Asian session manipulated, and then what did it do? It reversed. So what are we expecting London session to do? Continue. Asian session manipulation, reversal, London continuation. Now, let's look at what London session did so we can make an educated guess of where New York wants to go. So London session, let's go ahead and mark out our hourly draws. We have hourly lows right here. And see, because the war news, there's not really much else. There's hourly highs up here. We have the Asian session highs up here. We have London session lows right here and Asian session lows right here. There's really not many other draws on liquidity besides these London session highs. So we marked out London session highs, London session lows, hourly highs, Asian session high, Asian session low. What did London session do? Did it manipulate any of those highs or lows on the high time frame? No. So there was no form of manipulation during London session. So what daily profile does that lead to us having going into New York session? London session consolidation, New York manipulation reversal. What did New York do right when we opened? We opened and we immediately went up and did what? Swept out London session highs. Now, what are we doing? We got our manipulation. Now we're just going to expect some form of reversal. Okay. Low-key, I didn't think that today was going to be a good day to trade, but right now it's looking pretty freaking good. Maybe we could take like a mock trade today. Price is moving kind of slow. Anyways, we can see that this is, again, we see one of our daily profiles right here. What is this? Manipulation, reversal, London continuation. New York opens, London, what was this? Consolidation, because it didn't sweep out any hourly draws on liquidity. So there's no manipulation during London session. So what do we expect New York to do? And what do we see literally right when New York opens? New York opens right here. We have these London session highs. Boom. Manipulation. And now we're getting the reversal. So this was London consolidation, New York manipulation. And what are we doing now? Reversing. And then where can we target? Boom. Draws on liquidity to the downside. So we have, boom, these 5-minute lows, London session lows, these hourly lows, Asian session lows. I don't think that we're going to come all the way down to these Asian session lows because on the high time frame, us coming down and sweeping out these high time frame lows. First of all, it probably wasn't even expected in the first place, but since we had that war news candle, we came down and grabbed it. Let's see, did NASDAQ take them out too? No, yeah, we made an SMT divergence off of it. But we can see that what we literally just talked about, we just saw 2 of our daily profiles in the span of literally 2 sessions. So let's do the same thing with yesterday's price action. I want to keep my eye on this because this is like high key. It's high key looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. I'm just going to keep my eye on this. I might end up taking a trade in a YouTube video. That's funny. Let's go into Thursday's price action. So this is Thursday. Let's go ahead and put New York market open on. This is London session. This is Asian session. This one was so beautiful. So first thing that we are going to want to do is mark out our session highs and lows, mark out our draws on liquidity. So we have Asian session highs, Asian session lows, London session highs, London session lows, and then let's go into the hourly time frame. We have hourly highs, hourly lows. We have hourly highs, and that's good enough. So what do? We look at the previous session. What was the previous session doing? Boom, London session opened. Let's look at the draws on liquidity. Does London manipulate? Well, yes, right when London session opens, what does it immediately go down and do? It sweeps out Asian session lows. And then what does it do? So we see manipulation, and then what? Reversal. Awesome. So what is this going to be? New York continuation. And oh, would you look at that? What did New York session end up doing? Fucking continuing. It is that fucking simple. And where did it end up going to? Even though we already took out these highs, so we can go ahead and take that out. Where did it end up going to? Boom. Hourly or Asian session high, hourly high, relative equal highs. 2 are draws on liquidity. Ah! It's so freaking good. Wednesday, we had CPI news data, but we can still try and see if we had anything good. I don't think we had anything. I mean, no, we kind of did actually. Yeah, we actually did. Okay, so we'll go ahead and mark this out. This was a high impact news day, and I try and avoid trading on high impact news days. Something else that we need to keep in mind is that technically at 8 is when New York pre-market opens, okay? So pre-market opens at 8, so we need to keep that in mind. Mark out our draws on liquidity. We mark out Asian session highs, then we mark out Asian session lows. Then we mark out London session lows, then we mark out, these are pretty much London session highs up here. So again, because we had high impact news, it's a little bit iffy, but it is what it is. Okay, so we have Asian session highs, Asian session lows, London session lows, London session highs. And then let's go into our hourly real quick. Not much. We have these highs right here, and that's like kind of it. These lows already got taken out during London session, so that's kind of it. So coming into this high impact news day, that's why the chart just looks so kind of like ridiculous, but London session, do we get any form of manipulation? Or yeah, I guess we did. I completely blanked out, but yes, we did end up coming down and sweeping out these hourly lows. We had 2 daily profiles on this day. And this isn't super typical, but because it was high impact news, we got to move during pre-market and after that. So London session opens. Do we get any form of manipulation? Yes, we come down and we sweep out these hourly lows. Okay, so this is manipulation. Do we get much of a reversal going into New York pre-market open? Yes, we do. We get London manipulation, then we get a 5-minute break of structure to the upside, and then boom, New York pre-market opens. And then what do? We continue. Okay, so this is London manipulation, reversal, New York continuation. And where does New York continue all the way up to? Boom, London session highs, and these Asian session highs right here. And I don't really think that there was some 4-hour highs, if I'm correct, over here on the left-hand side. We had 4-hour highs right here, 4-hour highs right here. Yeah, so we came up and grabbed those as well. So we can see, and again, the only reason why New York made this move during pre-market was because we had high impact news at 8:30. So we can see that this was London manipulation, reversal, and then New York pre-market opened. And because this was like a super drastic high impact news day, the daily profile ended up playing out in the direction during pre-market. But we can also see another daily profile play out once New York market opens. So let's say that, again, it's kind of annoying because we had high impact news, but whatever. We come up, we take out these highs. So going into this, what could this also be labeled as? This can also be labeled as potentially London session consolidation, New York manipulation, and reversal. So what do we see? We see the manipulation during pre-market, and then we see the reversal, and then by the time market opens, we're probably going to want some form of like lower time frame manipulation. Again, we had high impact news. The OG daily profile of the day would have just been capturing this London manipulation, reversal, New York continuation up to these highs. That was the main objective because we can see price kind of dies down and then chops around. But we still see, boom, New York manipulation, reversal. And then again, if we were able to catch entries up here, we wouldn't have been stopped out, and these lows end up getting hit as well. Ideally, we're only classifying one daily profile. You don't want to be saying, oh, it went from London manipulation, reversal, New York continuation to now this. It's like, no, that's not how the daily profiles work. It's literally one per session. Okay, let's go ahead and do Tuesday. Alrighty. This wasn't the best price action either. This past week has been kind of shitty price action. In fact, I lost the majority of my trades this past session. But this is still a pretty good example. Oh yeah, and this is one thing that I wanted to clarify as well. So this is a great example of the thing that I wanted to clarify. And then after this, you guys will be fully fucking covered on daily buys. So let's look at Asian session. We have Asian session highs. We have Asian session lows. We have London session highs. We have London session lows. We want to look at the previous session. So we're looking at London session. What did London session do? Well, London session manipulated, reversed. So what are we expecting New York session to do? Continue. What does New York session do? It does continue all the way up to what? Boom. Asian session highs. Awesome. The one thing that we have to be good about is understanding that if we're in a London session manipulation reversal, we still have to expect some form of manipulation, even though it's a New York continuation of this trend, because new money is coming into the market during New York session. We have to expect some form of manipulation during the continuation phase. Okay, so if we're in the daily profile of manipulation, reversal, continuation of the new session that we're trading, we have to still be looking for some form of manipulation. And I'm really glad that we did Tuesday, or else I would have completely forgot to talk about this in this video, but this is super important. If we're trading a continuation daily profile, instead of looking for manipulation of high time frame draws on liquidity, like sweeping out London session highs and then reversing, or sweeping out London session lows and then reversing, because we're not looking for a manipulation and reversal in this session, we're looking for a continuation. There still has to be manipulation. It's just going to be on the lower time frames. So we're going to look to mark out 5-minute lows and like 15-minute lows. And then from there, because there's new money coming into this session, we can't just be entering blindly and just like buying right here, right at market open. We're going to get screwed over that way. There's new money coming into the market. It has to manipulate the previous session in some way, shape, or form. So what do I do when we're in a continuation setting? Going into a new session, I'm marking out 5-minute lows, or I'm marking out 5-minute highs that we could potentially sweep. So in this case, we see manipulation, reversal to the upside. So I'm marking out 5-minute lows so that we can see a manipulation and then catch trades off of that, still towards our overall bias, but I'm not just pressing buy right here because I know that new money is coming into the market and we're going to have to manipulate, just not high time frame manipulation. Why? Because the high time frame manipulation has already happened during the previous session, and we're expecting this session to continue that high time frame manipulation, but we just need some more orders to be filled within this new session. Okay, so let's show that example on how that happened on Tuesday. So if we look at this, we can see that we have these London session highs. We don't care about that. Why? Because we know we are looking for New York continuation. So even though we came up and took out these London session highs right when New York market opened, we're not looking for New York manipulation and reversal. We're looking for New York continuation. Why? Because London manipulated, reversed. So what do we expect New York to do to move higher? How is it going to move higher? We need to have some form of manipulation. So we can go ahead and go on the 15-minute and mark out highs and lows. So we have boom, 15-minute lows right here. And this is, again, a perfect example of this. We have a 15-minute low right here, 15-minute low right here. What does price do? This happened a little bit later in the day. Again, not the best price action, but it's still like, this is still 100% true and shows how our daily profiles work every single day. We come down, we sweep out this 15-minute low, we sweep out this 15-minute low, and then boom, what does price end up going to do? Fulfill, boom, these Asian session highs. We can also go on the 5-minute and mark out 5-minute lows. Okay, so we have a 5-minute low right here, we have 5-minute low right here, 5-minute low right here. Okay, we go through and sweep all of these out, and then boom, what do we end up doing? Fulfilling that continuation of this New York session to the upside. And just like that, you guys understand how to find daily bias. If you guys were sort of confused, if you guys still have questions and you're just like, man, I wish TJR would be able to talk to me one-on-one or be able to answer my questions, or I wish there was like a profitable trader that I could talk to every single day or send a fucking text message to, I am giving you guys access to that. I'll leave a little link in the description if you guys want to become one of my students, if you guys want to be able to get on coaching calls with me and other profitable traders, because I know these videos can only do so much for you guys as traders. I'm sure that you guys have questions, and I can only make these daily bias videos, these liquidity sweep videos, these strategy videos for what I'm assuming that you guys are struggling with, and hopefully you guys find the value that you guys need from these YouTube videos. But if you guys still need specific questions, if you guys still want specific trading on your day trading, and you guys are like, man, if I could just talk to TJR, or if I could just talk to other profitable traders that have already been through these mistakes, that I can literally just speed run through all of these things, get over all the mistakes that TJR made, get through all of the mistakes that other profitable traders had made in order to get to where they're at, and just go through the process much faster, you guys can become my student. You guys can get on these coaching calls with me. You guys can get on coaching calls with other profitable traders. You guys get full access to a profitable trader, literally 24/7 access to chat with them and answer all of your guys' questions. Because I know, you know, these videos only come out like once or twice a week. So it's hard, and maybe I'm not answering your very specific trading questions, and I would love to do that. It's just within the blueprint. So with that being said, I'll leave a little link in the description down there for you guys to sign up to that, for you guys to become my student. I love and appreciate you guys. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Hopefully this helped you guys. Peace out.